in terms of infrastructure, in terms of lack of pace, number of beneficiaries to be vaccinated, and that number being so large. So a little bit of beyond vaccines, right? On a larger scale, what else do you think we need to do and take actions so that the campaigns can be successful?
I think the fact will be real, and there's a real chance that COVID will be around for many, many years to come. It will be like a normal influenza, and we will have to have an annual influenza vaccination. And that means that whatever we're doing now to prepare to vaccinate mass populations, we have to think about more permanent. If you're using a school, it's not sustainable. You're probably going to have to start looking at different locations and a more fixed infrastructure. I think Jaishankar said, he had some fantastic ideas about using solar power for fridges and things that don't work, and that's great. But I think, to go back to your question, the focus has really been on vaccines. And of course, there's a lot around, there's a lot of ancillaries that need to support the vaccines. You need the injectables, you need the PPE, you need the sharps cases, you need the removal of the bio waste. And a lot of people haven't really thought this through. And it's very important that governments and private companies think of this through. First of all, logistically, a lot of these supplies are going by sea freight. I think the average calculation is for every pallet of vaccines, you've got at least 5 or 10 pallets of ancillary support materials, which is voluminous. It's less higher value. We do have an issue with global sea freight right now, with the disproportionate amount of sea containers not being available. Obviously, everyone knows about the issues with the Suez Canal, but that is a risk. I think waste management, I mean, we've touched on it a little bit. Dr. Mohan, raised this. This is really important because we already have issues with pollution in the world. There's already masks washing up on most beaches around the Pacific Islands. The last thing we want are needles washing up and injectables, and that has to be managed. That has to be disposed in a professional way, which the World Health it's normally managed by incinerators. Incinerators have to be boarded where there's mass vaccinations going on and then removed again. So I think we have to think beyond vaccines. We have to think about counterfeit. Counterfeit is probably one of the largest challenges we have right now. Without mentioning countries producing counterfeit, I think we all know who they are. Fake vaccines and fake pharmaceuticals have been on the market for the last 20 years. The bad guys are out there making millions of vials of counterfeit, and we have to make sure, as countries and as professional organizations, to make sure that we've got safe package, safe transportation, and safe chain of custody from the manufacturing plant to the vein of the patient. And that requires serialization of the vaccines. That requires digitalization of the logistics chains, that we don't keep we keep our eyes on the product all the time. So I think, in short, we need to build a more permanent and sustainable supply chain around vaccines, and not just plan for a one-time summer party and then we go back to work. It's not going to work that way. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's more about sustainability, Michael, right, in the longer run.